Hola, young travelers. Today we are going to be talking about Mexico. On the map. Mexico is located on the continent of North America. Mexico is a big country and is divided into 31 states. The population is almost 128 million people. Mexico has a very diverse landscape, from high mountains to deep canyons in the center of the country, sweeping deserts in the north, and dense rainforests in the south and the east. Most of Mexico has warm or hot temperatures since it is near the equator. The equator is an imaginary line that divides the Earth in half, creating the northern and southern hemispheres. Areas that are high up in the Mexican mountains can experience colder temperatures and sometimes even snowfall. Flags and symbols. Mexico's flag is inspired by its indigenous peoples' religions. The green represents hope, white represents purity, and red is for those who lost their lives for Mexico. The eagle eating the snake is based on an Aztec legend about the founding of the city Tenochtitlan. Customs and cultures. Mexican culture is heavily influenced by their ancient, indigenous, or native people, and their Spanish occupation and rule starting in 1518. There were over 17 different indigenous groups that lived in Mexico. Some of these still exist today. The Olmecs were one of the first cultures to develop a form of written language. Did you know the Olmecs invented popcorn? The Mayans developed one of the most complex and accurate calendars. The Aztec Empire was ruling when Spanish explorers discovered Mexico in 1518. When the Spanish took control of Mexico, it was not always easy for the indigenous people of Mexico. Mexico gained its independence from Spain during the War of Independence, but even now, Spanish influence can be seen in the language, religion, and laws of Mexico. Something that unites all Mexicans is their love for family. Family culture is not just about respecting their elders, but spending holidays and celebrations with family. Since many Mexicans have indigenous heritage, they observe those traditions too, like the celebration of Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. It is a celebration of their loved ones who have passed away. Mariachis represent Mexican culture and music. The mariachi band consists of 4 musicians playing violins, guitarrón, guitar, and vihuela. They also come in charro suit costumes. The mariachi's music originated from the state of Jalisco and derived from the Spanish word for wedding. Today you see mariachi musicians mostly strolling the streets and in the restaurants. Foods. You can't talk about Mexican culture without talking about Mexican food. I imagine you have tasted some Mexican foods. Corn and beans are some of their most common foods. Corn can be eaten on or off the cob, but is also a common way to make flour they use to make breads, cakes, and tortillas. In most meals, they eat beans and rice. There is one other food that came from Mexico. Any ideas what it could be? Tomatoes. Language. Mexico got its language from the time of when it was under Spanish rule. While other languages are spoken, Spanish is the official language of Mexico. Do you know any Spanish? Hola means hello. Adios means goodbye. Por favor, please. And gracias means thank you. Fun facts. Did you know that Mexico is home to the Chihuahua, the world's smallest dog? One of the most famous people from Mexico is the artist Frida Kahlo. A lot of her artwork explores her personal identity. She is most famous for her self-portraits. The Monarch Butterfly Biosphere Reserve is a forested area devoted to the protection of butterflies, specifically the monarch, which migrates from the northeastern United States to Mexico to spend their winter months. Many of the monarch's natural habitat and food supply have been put in danger due to agricultural practices and climate change. Cenotes are natural sinkholes that occur from the collapse of limestone bedrocks, revealing groundwater. Mexico's peninsula of Yucatan is where this pit is often associated, since the Mayan people commonly used the water for their daily supplies. Almost 10% of the Mexican population plays soccer. Mexico is one of the countries with the most number of soccer players. Soccer is also part of their culture that brings families together.